Why do we want everything to be perfect? And why is it so hard to create something that's not? I've had the sketchbook for about 3 years now. And since the beginning, I've been struggling to fill it. I only wanted to put the best drawings in there. Every single page had to be perfect, better than the last, and presentable, or whatever that means. At some point, I struggled to come up with ideas because every single idea that popped into my head, I didn't have the skills yet to execute it. In the end, I got a little bit frustrated because I could not, for the life of me, put the idea that I could so clearly see in my head to paper. But instead of trying and maybe messing up, but still learning, I just left all the pages empty. And when I actually managed to fill a page, it wasn't my idea. I searched Pinterest for save options. I only ever fill it with things I knew for sure I could do. Things I knew I wouldn't mess up. And that's not how a sketchbook works. And when I started this project, all pages looked lifeless. Because most of the ideas weren't mine. Most of the styles weren't mine. Eventually, the fear of messing up and setting myself all these unrealistic expectations led to me not drawing for a while. And that changes right now. I will draw in this sketchbook without planning it out, without peeing my pants. Not literally, but like just going with the flow, see where it gets me, and filling everything with color and life. I started filling the pages with color, not thinking too much about it, just picking the first one I thought would look good and just slapping it on the paper. Preferably before I could start overthinking. Sometimes I regretted the decision, but I had to roll with it anyways. First I struggled a bit, but it got better the longer I kept going. Then I started adding things to paintings I thought looked a little bit empty. Most of the time it was just patterns, so I wouldn't think too much about it. But slowly the book felt like it was coming together again. And who would have thought? After a while, I kind of felt my creative spark getting back to me. While looking through Pinterest, an idea popped into my head, and instead of sketching it out separately, I transferred it immediately to this sketchbook. And after filling it with a little bit of paint, now I'm really happy with it. And while playing a little bit with colors, the first major mistake happened. I didn't let the colors dry enough, and the color transferred to the finished drawing on the other side. But I kind of love it. It looks like it belongs there. And after that incident, I was sitting in front of an empty piece of paper and I felt inspired for the first time in a very long time. I want to challenge myself with the sketchbook. I want to get this done within the next 2 months or so. Because I've never had a sketchbook that's actually finished. I always stopped after like 2 pages. And I want to challenge you too. Everyone who has a sketchbook at home that they want to fill but don't. This is your sign to start now. Just pick it up and put whatever you want in there. Patterns or little sketches. It doesn't have to be perfect. That is the whole point of this challenge and this channel. Just put whatever you want in there. Just search something up on Pinterest that seems mindless and just get those creative juices flowing. Because it takes a while. Art is about making mistakes, in my opinion at least. Art is interesting because we make mistakes, because the line here and there is a little bit wonky, because we smudge paint and create something that we didn't really intentionally do, but it just happened along the way. I'm a firm believer of everything happens for a reason. It may be a little bit woohoo when you think about art and creative work. I had various instances in my life where I thought in the moment, why is this happening to me? And later on, it led me to whole other situations that wouldn't have happened otherwise. And I learned the most through those experiences. And art is also an experience like anything else in life. You just have to embrace what life, or in this case, your paintbrush or your paint gives to you. I think that counts as the lesson of the day. So if you pick up your sketchbook today, think of making mistakes. And maybe think of making mistakes purposefully. Until then, I will see you next time. Bye!